You are listening to the Spine Whisperers podcast. Please know that our doctors are here to only educate, not diagnose on this podcast. If you have any questions, please feel free to find us at www.mfwellness.org. Good afternoon. This is Dr. Matthew Fink with Dr. Joshua Fink and Dr. Brad Maurer coming to you from the Spine Whisperer podcast. What up?
What's up, people?
Should I say something?
No, you don't have to. You don't have to.
Greeting.
I'm intently looking at Dr. Brad.
That was our new intro.
Yeah, I liked it.
So it was our intro to our intro. Right. So today we're going to talk about dog injuries and an occurrence that happened with one of the doctors here.
Yeah, it's story time today. It's going to be awesome.
And then Dr. Josh is going to follow up with all kinds of different injuries that could possibly happen to your dog that you would need to see
about dogs.
a chiropractor. Yeah, so Dr. Terry Certain has been on as a guest for this podcast a couple times. Mm-hmm. We've talked about dogs and chiropractic. We've talked about a bunch of different animals that Dr. Terry Certain has actually adjusted. And today we have a story from our very own Dr. Brad.
Dr. Brad.
Yeah,
been in
right.
the trenches.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It was a rough week there. So, on Memorial Day, all of a sudden, we were doing work inside and outside the house, and I happened to walk by our dog who's 4 years old, and she's super energetic. She's a Boston Terrier. She likes to be doing stuff all the time. But I walked by, and she was near the front door, and she was just laying on her side, and I saw her, like, shivering. It was one of those shivers you're like, well, it's not because she's cold.
Right.
And I kind of recognized right away that she was not feeling well or she was in pain or something was going on. So kind of gave her that day. She was really lethargic the whole entire day. Dude. And from that point, she basically stopped eating. She was not eating.
Oh, man.
And then because of that, wasn't going to the bathroom either.
Yeah.
So that was a Monday. And then come Wednesday, we weren't able to get her in to see our normal vet until I think it was Thursday at some point. Mm-hmm. But on Wednesday when I went home and she still wasn't eating, she was very lethargic. I'm like, okay, we need to
48 hours panic city.
Figure something out.
Right.
And of course, late at night, our option was an emergency vet.
Emergency veterinarian.
And things I'm going to talk about, I'm in no way saying that an emergency vet isn't the way to go, especially if it's late at night, a weekend. If your dog is in horrible shape, that is the place to be, But I'm going to kind of let you know kind of the experience I went through. So went there, and at that point, I myself don't know.
This is like 11 o'clock,
what's
right?
going on, yeah. And so they do a whole bunch of tests.
Right. Is there like 3 or 4 people there? Is it like are you the only one there?
You see 3, but then you hear a lot of action in the back.
So there's
not really sure how many are hiding in the back.
So there's like work. 7 or 8 people at the vet clinic at 4 a.m.
I would say, that might be the max number, but there was definitely...
That's wild, man. I wonder how many
at least a
emergencies
handful.
They get.
It was, we got there at 11, and we didn't leave till 4. And, of course, it's a triage situation. So we've been there a couple hours, but some animal comes in who's in really rough shape.
Oh, did you see another one come in?
Of course, we get, moved back a little bit because of severity. So... X-rays, urinalysis, blood testing.
Crazy.
Really showing nothing other than a few things are elevated, probably because she's stressed out. So they send us, after all that, still no real idea. They send us home with some like anti-nausea medication, hoping that maybe that would, should start eating.
Help her eat, sure.
At that point, I'm thinking maybe... She had been outside a lot on Sunday. I'm thinking maybe she ate something weird outside.
Something weird.
She has like a whole rabbit.
This is
stuck
before
in her
the death, before the death heat showed up here.
Yeah. So I'm thinking she's just blocked or something going on. It wasn't until Sunday that she showed physical signs, as in like she wasn't using her back left leg. And that's when it started.
So spooky.
Started to trigger in my head, like, okay, there's something like possibly with her spine going on here.
Right.
And as a chiropractor, it's like, what
we always
I didn't even think about,
Right. Well, I mean, it's always like, is your spine? Like, no, it can't be the spine. It's got to be,
But when
not everything is the spine, but it's the spine.
It's spine. Your dog can't tell you what's going on. You're like, okay.
I'm going to check your spine.
So we did go back to the emergency vet at that point. It was a Sunday. Once again, a day that you can't see your
regular
anybody else.
I like how your dog picks really inexpensive days to get
Yeah, it's great.
Like,
It's
it'll be nice and inexpensive.
So the other big thing is there was no additional exam fee because of the amount of time in between. So we went there and they did some reflex testing and some pain testing in those back legs, and she did not pass. So that's when it was all of a sudden, boom. And I'd already talked to my wife before we even went for that visit. I was like, okay, I'm calling Dr. Certain on Monday morning. And
absolutely.
We're getting them in. So they did give her, they gave her some anti-inflammatories, nerve medicine. Mm-hmm. They gave her muscle relaxers, and then also kind of like an anti-anxiety, because we were looking at crating her at that point. And our other dog went through the crating process. No issues. Our dog loved it. This one, Luna, it didn't go so well. She's not used to the crate. So that was part of the anti-anxiety medication because we were going to kind of block her off. Because the big thing that we figured out is, and probably what led to her showing the signs of the back leg, was jumping off the couch. So at that point, it was decided, she's not going to jump off anything, because she even jumps off the bed, all that stuff. So, but anyways, we set up an appointment with Dr. Certain. We were able to get her in on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And right off the bat, he did the evaluation didn't take long at all. Checked her spine. The big deal was T5 through 8 or T6 through T9. And the thing with dogs, if a lot of you know that in humans, the nerves that control the legs come from your lower lumbar. So we're talking your low back.
Your low back, right?
But for canines, the nerves that go down the leg come from the thoracic. So in that area, that T5, 6, 7, or T6, 7, 8, where she was having the biggest issue.
That's wild, man. I had no idea.
Yeah, she was subluxated in those three. And then he checked her whole spine. She was also, the hips needed adjusting, also her neck. And that was really, we had Dr. Certain here. I've watched a video of him adjusting horses, but it was my first experience seeing him adjust a dog. And so it was interesting. It's a bit of an impulse. So when we adjust humans,
just those quick hands.
Yeah, we have our hands on your back and put it into tension, adjust. But with a dog, he starts about a half an inch from the spine,
right?
And it's impulse.
Yeah, so he's giving him what we call the 1-inch punch.
That's right.
Yeah.
How much speed can you generate in a half an inch of space?
And no big deal with the dogs. She kind of looked back at him like, "What are you doing to me?" But in no way like injured her or hurt her in any possible way. But it's like
wild.
Yeah, it's a really quick impulse. And now she's had 2 visits with Dr. Certain, and I'm going to take her on Friday again. Much better. She only had one real incident, and it was really quick in between the first and second adjustment. And it's because she's sneaky. She made a jump up onto the couch. We haven't let her jump down from anything, but she made a quick jump, and then boom, there we go again.
Wow,
she's shivering in pain again. So, but yeah, so we kind of have to change things around. Like one thing Dr. Certain mentioned, and actually this was the ER vet. She said, especially the smaller dogs, even if it's ours is a Boston Terrier, is about 30 pounds. Her jumping from a couch is like a human jumping from like a 1-story rooftop and landing.
Right.
The big difference is ours is a compression, and with theirs it's not only that, but it's a shearing stress.
I was going to say.
So it's like a bending load right in that area, that that mid thoracic. The one thing
the spine doesn't do well is shear.
Yeah, and so part of this story, and we're going to talk more about it, is just if dog owners don't realize this, it's trying to limit, especially with these smaller dogs, and really any dog, but allowing them to jump from these higher heights. Definitely a bed, but even sometimes a couch. We don't maybe realize how much stress that's putting on their spine.
And
what that can lead to.
Right, and you're the 4th person I know that's gone to Dr. Certain with an emergency dog visit.
Yeah.
And for that, like I looked it up. The number one as reported from Vet MD. So, if it's anything like WebMD, you got to take it with a grain of salt. But the number 1 ER visit is allergies and allergic response. But osteoarthritis, disc bulge, that kind of trauma, that's a number 8 reason for emergency vet visits. And it's like, and they're awesome people. Like, 12 o'clock at night, you're freaking out. They're there to help you. but like there's nothing they could do.
Right. And it's like what
There's
we talk about
nothing they could do.
with
It's
human
like,
ERs. If you're terrible shape, of course that's where you need to go.
Yeah, man.
But beyond that,
it's just wild. Like you're like, oh, we're chiropractors. We, stop. It's not the spine. Like let's go. But
yeah, it's the spine.
Especially when
When
you're experiencing something with a dog that's 4 years old and you've never experienced anything like that with her before.
Yeah,
it's like, and it kind of gets you like,
like we're spoiled.
You're a little bit human, and it's like, I have no idea what could this possibly be?
It's
because you're so concerned with the dog's well-being that it's like you're not thinking correctly.
What could this possibly? We're the luckiest people around. Like we got, in my opinion, the best animal chiropractor on the face of the planet. Down the street from us. It's just incredible the stuff that can go wrong. But I did look that up. The animals that are prone towards that. It's Boston Terriers, Shih Tzus, German Shepherds. And the last one was a bigger dog. It was Basset Hounds.
Oh, Basset
Hounds.
Well, that makes
so
sense.
These are these are dogs. German
think,
Shepherd, I don't get. That's
what about
weird.
Dachshund too.
Dachshund, yeah, I'm sure. Oh, the Min Pins, miniature pinchers, those things. You just got these dogs jumping down from stuff, blasting their back right out. So it's just wild to think about. But yeah, they have a listing of the dogs that are more prone to it. I don't know how German Shepherds would be. They're huge.
Maybe that's what it is.
I'm just saying, like their legs are so long.
What
Do they jump down from a house?
Maybe the measurements, and if the breed is known for hip dysplasia and hip problems in general, that's what you're looking at.
Yeah.
So one of the things we want to address is the use of ramps or stairs for dogs, either getting into bed or getting into couches, or go ahead, Dr. Josh.
Do you know what I'm going to say?
Go ahead.
Don't let them up on your couches or beds.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Right. Dr. Brad had mentioned kenneling, and really what that gives the dog is the ability to have its own space. So if you can kennel your dog at night, if you kennel them when you're not there, and you do it in a way that's a positive reinforcement.
Right. Now, even if you don't lock it, you just have a place for them to go hang out that's there.
Our older one, we don't have it anymore, but for many years, that's what as soon as we would go, he would head into his crate and
just hang out there.
House.
Yeah.
House.
Yeah.
And then our current dog, it's when you kennel her, it has to be locked up because she just finds stuff to get into. Like, not on purpose, but like...
Yeah, their dogs are used to packs. And when the pack leaves, the dog gets anxious.
Yeah.
That's my worry about, if you're gone all day, you got a dog, they're going to get crazy. Like, you left me. They don't know you're coming back.
If you look at people's bedrooms and the beds that they have now, they're much taller and they're much further away from the ground now than they've ever been.
Yeah, like 4 feet. I mean,
yeah, so
25 feet.
Yeah, so for that, you'd really want to make sure that when you're buying a stair or ramp for the dog, a ramp they really don't need to have too much of an incline, but a stair should be 3 or 4 stairs depending on how tall your dog is. So if you have a German Shepherd, maybe 2 stairs up into the bed is fine. But when you're talking about a Shih Tzu or something small like that, you'd want 3 or 4 steps because you don't want the steps to be too long to where they're jumping up onto the step, and it should be more of a walk up. So finding something, I know Dr. Brad was talking about having his...
my father-in-law is in the process of building a ramp. We do have some stairs. And I think it's, like you said, 4 steps.
Yeah.
And then we're going to incorporate a ramp as well. Yeah, because now at this point,
not like
4
a bike
years,
ramp. The
old,
dog's not going to do some sweet tricks. She's doing some sweet tricks.
But we are also working towards her not jumping on the couch.
Yeah. Going through
so we're starting that training. So we're flipping the cushions, especially when we're not around there. We flip them up and kind of block the couch. So even at 4 years old, we're hoping we can train her that there's other places to hang out.
Yeah, I think it might be following that same trend so I don't end up with the same injury.
Like everybody except for your dog, it's happened to. There's like 4 that we know that their dog, bam, disc.
And they're
it's
Frenchies.
insane.
So Michelle's dogs are Frenchies, so I could see them having similar issues.
Yeah,
They're buck wild.
Yeah, they are. They're all muscle. I know Lily, before she passed away, she had a couple different injuries, and I ended up adjusting her myself.
How'd that go?
That was really well. It was just for
Tell the people.
Temporary. It was temporary relief. But yeah, it was T5, T6, and she was having, like, she jumped off and she felt like, but yeah, I had the same thing happen.
Yeah, it's like if there's any message here, you got to get these tiny dogs to stop jumping off of stuff.
Yeah, and
They just blasted themselves.
Ladybug is absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. Every time she jumps, I wince.
Is your dog's name Ladybug? Or
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if that was the nickname or whatever. But...
No. We call her LB.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the dog that I liked the best?
Rory.
Yeah.
Rory, and then Lily, and then now we have Ladybug.
Okay. Yeah, Rory. That dog was awesome.
Yeah, Ladybug's just a reincarnation of Lily.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They come from the cloning pod.
Yeah, it physically...
Did you get them from the same place?
No, we adopted Ladybug from Yuppie Puppy.
The YP.
The YP. And Lily...
Check out their new location in Cottleville.
Which is associated with the pet doctor.
Yeah.
Where I saw Dr. Certain.
Yeah.
Or Luna saw Dr. Certain.
Yeah, that's
shoot.
where... Yeah, he has hours out of that place.
He's
He went
so
out of,
cool,
I saw
Terry.
the one in O'Fallon, or Winghaven. I saw him in the one in Winghaven.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, it's a good stuff.
So
He's
a public
everywhere.
service announcement for people.
Yeah.
It's the spine.
One,
One, it's the
don't
spine.
let your dogs jump off stuff. 2, if they do and they have an issue, chiropractic.
Yeah.
Wild, man. Like, it's wild. Like,
And
it's
you
the
know,
spine.
it like pains us to
It
have
does.
to tell you this story because myself, Dr. Brad, Dr. Josh, all we do is think about
The spine.
Have you adjusted your spine? Have
But
you,
when
have
Brad
you-
was texting us at 4 a.m.,
Dr.
I was
Josh
like,
and I
you got to take him
Josh.
to the hospital. You got to
Yeah.
take that dog to the hospital.
We're
That
gonna
dog
both
needs
try.
some drugs.
Yeah.
You got to get that dog some drugs and surgery. And it's like,
Yep.
nope, it was the spine.
And they did get her through, but she didn't need the surgery.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's wild, man.
And that was brought up too, like MRI, surgery, and we're like,
You don't even know what's
we're
wrong.
gonna hold
Why
up.
would you-
We're
yeah,
gonna
like,
we're gonna go see. I didn't even tell them.
Yeah,
but
we're gonna send a team in there. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Did they even follow up with you?
no,
They don't care.
That's not true. They do.
Come
care.
on,
They did ask us to call them, but they didn't call us, and then we didn't call them.
man. Yeah. All right. I'll just stop there because I'm starting to get the shakes.
But yeah, so
Anyway,
please have stairs or ramps in place, and please take a couple minutes each day and try to train or work with your dog so they're not jumping on and off of.
we don't want to see your
salt.
dog get hurt,
Yeah,
or just get a really tall dog.
that
Just get a dog, an actual
Step
really
off
tall
of the
dog.
bed.
yeah.
Take a dog.
One
You're like,
leg.
it just right like get a moose. You know
Wonderful.
what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, a moose, absolutely.
Get something that's 3-4 foot tall at the shoulder. Get yourself something like that. You'll be fine.
Mini horse.
Yeah, get you something like that. So, all right.
All right, so for myself, Dr. Josh, and Dr. Brad, if there are any questions whatsoever, please email me at drmatt@mfwellness.org. See you later.
Bye.
A big thank you goes to Hug Monster Sound for all the hard work they put into making us sound so great.